agency. I'm a session chair of this second session. So this session's title is Incident Response Case Studies. So the second session's presentations will provide some insight on recovery, improvements, and lessons learned from incident response case studies, which involve the telecommunications and ISP network. So this session, we have three speakers. So first person, Andrew Clark from CERT Australia, and Mohamed Salaudian from ID30CC, and Dr. Jungmin Lee from Korea CERT, CareCERT CC. So the first speaker is Andrew Clark. So in his presentation, he will provide details of the tactics used by the criminals behind the ransomware campaign and the technical analysis undertaken by CERT Australia. Please welcome Mr. Andrew Clark. Andrew.
Thanks, Hong Sung. So as Hong Sung mentioned, my presentation is about some analysis work we've done on a ransomware campaign. So I've given the presentation this title, Tracking Cyber Kidnappers, and I thought, well, they're not really kidnappers, they're not stealing people, they're stealing data, so data nappers. So I'm a member of the technical team for CERT Australia, based in Canberra. And I'll start by giving a view of what CERT Australia does, and then get into the details of this ransomware campaign. So just a comment on vulnerabilities, I guess, as it came up in the previous session. So this campaign, there's only one vulnerability that's used. It's a social engineering campaign. There's no technical vulnerabilities that were exploited. But it was still pretty effective, even though you might think of it as being unsophisticated. So I'll talk about the characteristics of the ransomware campaign, how we responded to this campaign, the analysis we did, and make some final conclusions. So CERT Australia is part of the Australian government. We're in the Attorney General's Department, but our job is to support businesses and industry. So we assist them with incidents, we provide them with information to help them be prepared better for handling and responding to incidents, and hopefully defending or preventing them in the first place. And we focus on what we call systems of national interest, which are significant organisations within Australia, and that includes critical infrastructure operators. So we have a formal arrangement with over 500 Australian businesses, allows us to share information with them in a secure way, but we're also a member of the global CERT community, which we share information with as well, and of course we receive information from. So this slide just tries to give a snapshot of the range of services that we provide, and on the left you'll see the proactive types of activities that we do. So we publish advisories and good practice guides. We go around Australia and provide information exchanges with our partners, and we also participate in and provide training and exercises. On the right hand side you see our more reactive and responsive capabilities. We work with other ACSC agency partners. So the ACSC is the Australian Cyber Security Centre, which is a collection of Australian government agencies, which include law enforcement, which has responsibility for cybersecurity. We also run a hotline, which is both a phone number and an email address that you can see at the bottom of the slides, where partners and also members of the public can contact us for assistance. We also do analysis for partners to help them, I guess, in the first stages of responding to an incident, and then we, I guess, hand over to commercial organisations that can continue to support them through the response. So that was a little bit about Cert Australia. Now I want to talk about this particular ransomware campaign, the Torrent Locker family. And I guess the point to note is that this campaign is still ongoing. It started over 12 months ago. And it's affecting a large number of organisations and individuals in Australia and also around the world. But as you'll see on the coming slides, it's actually highly targeted. They've picked particular countries and focused on them, and Australia just happens to be. And interestingly, one of the few countries in the Asia Pacific region that's been targeted by this particular criminal activity. So they've chosen localised themes specific to the countries that they're targeting, and they're moving their infrastructure and their tactics constantly. So I've stolen this graph from a paper which is sourced at the bottom here, done by some researchers from ESET, where they analysed the victims of this Torrent Locker campaign and which countries they're from. And you can see on the right there, Australia is the second most targeted country. So they've picked a specific set of countries and really focused on them. Most of these countries are in Europe, with the exception perhaps of New Zealand and Canada over here. So I'm not assuming everyone here is has a security background, so I'm going to give a fairly high-level overview of how the ransomware works. I've got some screenshots to show you it in action, and so hopefully you get a bit of an understanding of how much effort the criminals have gone to make this campaign succeed. So this set of steps here just really focuses on the victim's perspective. There are other activities that might go on in the background. So for example, before a spam is sent, there'll be some activity to set up infrastructure to support the campaign by the criminals. So I haven't listed that here, but essentially an email is sent to the victim. In this case, they're very official looking emails, so they mimic well-known organisations in the targeted country. So for example, Australia Post was one of the organisations that was used in Australia, and they would register domains that are very similar to the AusPost domain, which I think is auspost.com.au. So they just look for variants and register those domains beforehand, and they put links to websites that they've set up on those domains which look identical to the official websites. So the emails will contain some lure to try to get you to click the link. So I'll show you some examples of that shortly. So there's no malicious attachment. Victim clicks on the link and is convinced that they should download a file on the website, and this is where the malware, how the malware reaches the victim's computer. They execute it, and the malware essentially encrypts the user's files and then asks for a ransom to decrypt them. In this case, the victim's asked to use Bitcoin to pay the ransom. And after they do that, they're able to download a program that decrypts their files. So what are some of the characteristics of this particular campaign that made it challenging for us as a CERT to deal with? So they leveraged a previous ransomware campaign, CryptoLocker, So they use CryptoLocker branding in this campaign, as you'll see on a coming slide. But it's not actually CryptoLocker, it's a new campaign, and it's called Torrent Locker. And they realise that people know that if they pay the ransom, they want to get their files back. Otherwise, word will get out that they're unreliable and people won't pay the ransom. So they want to keep the victims confident that by paying the ransom, they're actually going to get their files back. And this was the number one question we were asked when people ring the hotline is, if I pay the ransom, am I going to get my files back? So there's a motive there, motivation for the crime group to be faithful in a way to the victims, so that people will continue to pay the ransom. This particular campaign was very rapidly evolving. So almost every day throughout the most active periods, we were seeing new domains registered, and this was to keep ahead of domains being taken down. And the malware binary was changing more or less daily. So antivirus updates couldn't keep up with the rate at which the malware was changing. So this slide is just a screenshot of the ransom notice that gets displayed to you after your files have been encrypted. So here you can see they've reused the CryptoLocker branding and links to these Tor protected sites where you can pay the ransom and download the decryption software. If you scroll down this page, there's actually a set of frequently asked questions there where you can gain some confidence that, you know, by actually doing this, you're going to get your files back. So just to reinforce what I made about antivirus software providing minimal assistance here. So this is, a VirusTotal is just a site that will run a file against a whole lot of antivirus vendors' products and tell you how many of them are detecting it. So on the day of delivery for this particular sample, so this is a file called parcelinformation.exe, 4 out of the 54 antivirus products were able to detect it. And these are most likely heuristic-based detection. 2 days later, most of them are detecting it. So I think that's 29 out of 54. So there's a window there of basically a day or two where antivirus products, assuming you're updating them very regularly, provide you with no protection. And then a few more days later, 34 of the products are detecting it. So another characteristic of this campaign is that the themes changed over time. So initially they started targeting Australia Post. So the theme there was, we tried to deliver a parcel, no one was at home, you need to contact us so that we can deliver it to you. So everyone wants to get a parcel, right? So people will do what the email says. That got a lot of publicity, and eventually they moved to different types of themes. So there was an electricity bill mimicking a real company in Australia called Energy Australia. Telstra is one of our major telecommunications providers, so there was a bill from them. Then most recently they moved to traffic speeding fines mimicking one of our state governments, so NSW's New South Wales, which is a state in Australia. So I've got some screenshots to show you of those, and then there were, as I mentioned, the other countries that were affected, so I've got a couple of examples of them as well. So on the right here is an email that purports to be from the Australia Post. Says, notice it's got nothing personal to you on it, it's generic, there's no name or address on it. courier did not deliver the parcel to your address, please view information here, which is a link to this website up here, postaut.com in this particular instance. And then a bit of an incentive for you to actually do this. If you don't contact us, we're going to start charging you if you don't pick up your parcel. So people click on this link and they're taken to this website, which looks exactly the same as Australia Post's website. They've just duplicated it. And from there you download a program that's got all of the instructions for how you can get your parcel, which in fact encrypts the files on your computer. Similarly with the Energy Australia one, there's a fairly generic looking electricity bill, and once again a link to a website to view your gas bill information, and a site there that looks very much like Energy Australia. And they use, these are just a very small sample of domain names on each of these slides that just kept constantly changing every day. So they were able to register new domains, their phishing emails every day. Here's the Telstra one. There's telstra.net, telstra.org. Oh, sorry, misspellings of Telstra there. Telstra. So very similar to Telstra. And this is the speeding fine one. So they used, so the real domain is nsw.gov.au. So they've just come up with variants of that. This is a Czech Post one, an Italian Post one, so you can see they've reused the capture code on these ones. And then there was a bit of a fail on this one. So this is the one impersonating the Royal Mail, which is the UK Postal Service, but they used the Australia Post domain still. But they quickly sorted that out and moved on to some better looking domains. So that was a bit of a, I guess, highlighting how they were able to adapt different themes as people became aware of Australia Post. They would change the theme and so on. Another characteristic of this particular campaign is they changed the way that the malicious binary was distributed. So initially, as you saw in those examples, it required the user to download a file and execute it. The most recent variants are using a Word attachment with a malicious macro. And the macro actually downloads the software that does the encryption. But there's social engineering in the Word document. So it says this document was created by a newer version of Microsoft Office macros must be enabled to display the contents of this document. So you go, oh damn, I've got to click this. So you click enable content, and then the macro runs and downloads the and executes the malware. So what's the cert's role in this as it's going on? So as I mentioned, we've got people calling us, asking for advice. We ask them if they're able to provide us with a copy of the email that was sent to them. So we get a feel for what the themes are, what the sites are involved, and so on. We do some from these samples, and we created an advisory that we shared with our partners. And we ask our partners to provide us with samples if they see anything similar or relate to what we've published in the advisory. So this provides us with another channel of information about this particular campaign. The advisory that we wrote for this particular campaign was updated. We tried not to do it daily, but pretty much weekly during the most active part of this. We were pushing out new indicators, which I'll talk about shortly, relating to the malicious domains and the files. So we also worked with what I've called the theme victims. So this is like Australia Post and Energy Australia. So these are not well, their reputation is being affected, I guess, but they're not being financially affected by these particular campaigns. But they're obviously very keen to see these malicious sites taken down. So we shared samples with these organisations. I guess that also feeds into our advisories, but it enables these organisations to collect evidence that they need to request a takedown of the site. So if someone's basically is purporting to be them, can use that as evidence to ask for that site to be taken down. And finally, obviously, the law enforcement agencies have an interest in this activity as well. So we were sharing our analysis with the Australian law enforcement agencies. In terms of the types of advice that you can provide to assist organisations and individuals that are affected by this, for individuals it's much harder. Really, it's this first point. We just really have to keep working at education and awareness. People having a better idea of what malicious emails look like and not following the links in them. Organisations perhaps can have a little bit more control over, for example, which applications are being run on their networks by using application whitelisting, restricting admin privileges to reduce the impact if one computer is compromised, taking regular backups and blocking indicators of compromise. So for this particular campaign, the indicators that we were sharing with our partners were taken from the email messages themselves, so things like the sender, which was common across many of the emails, the subject and the links in the emails, obviously. So the fake domains. So all these are what we call pre-infection indicators. So if you can detect an email message and block it based on one of these attributes, then you can potentially prevent the malware from running. Post-infection indicators are indicators that will be available after a compromise has occurred. So communications of the malware with its command and control infrastructure, and the actual names of the malware files and the hashes, more importantly the hashes. So one of the things that we learned through speaking with our partners throughout this campaign was that they were really keen for us to provide the next update so that they could update all of their monitoring and filtering devices with the latest indicators. And this, we learned, was a very manual task. Some organisations were saying, every time you send out an update, we allocate one person 2 days to go and push these updates out across our organisation. So this is a huge impact we're having every time we push out an update to our advisory to the organisations that receive our advisories. So obviously we want to minimise that impact and look at ways to reduce the impact. And STIX, I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with it. STIX stands for Structured Threat Information Expression, which is basically an XML schema for describing all sorts of threat information, but in particular for this type of incident, observables, which are the things like the IP addresses and the files and the domains. TTPs, which is a characterization of the tools, techniques and procedures used by the malicious parties. Courses of action, COA, so that's what do we recommend you do if you see one of these observables. And the kill chain, which is that pre-infection and post-infection. At what point are we at? When you see a particular observable, is it a pre-infection or post-infection? So the benefit of moving towards technologies like STIX is that the indicators that we push out to our partners are in a machine-readable format that they can hopefully deploy much more quickly than, say, copying text or CSV files. And when people mention sticks, they also usually talk about taxi, which is basically the communications mechanism for distributing sticks information. So at Cert Australia, we have been publishing sticks packages for almost 12 months now to our partners. And hopefully over time, more and more of them adopt sticks as a mechanism for deploying indicators onto their networks. Another thing that we discovered during the analysis of this particular campaign was that there were links between the ransomware and banking Trojans. So we were able to identify that these two banking Trojans, Hesperbot, and which is actually very early, and Drydex, which is a more recent one, were most likely created by the same group as the ones that created Torrent Locker. So as an example, so Drydex also uses the word macro approach in an attachment, as the most recent Torrent Locker did. So these are just the document properties from two documents from those two different campaigns. But we can see that there's similarities here. So the last saved by Durdom is the same, and the company Specialist Repack is the same. Then if we look at two of the malicious executables that were distributed as part of the earlier Torrent Locker campaign, we see the C2s are matching up here. So this is a Torrent Locker campaign using this Always Happy C2, which is the same as the one used by Drydex. So there's another link between these campaigns. Similarly over here, we've got two different variants of the Torrent Locker campaign using the same C2. And as it turns out, these two campaigns are also linked by the IP address of this IP address here. So there was lots of sort of indications that all these activities were related to the same actors. I guess on the theme of the rapidly evolving nature, they were able to change the way they use word macros as well. So, for example, initially the URLs were in clear text, which mean that they could be more easily scanned to detect the C2 URLs. So they eventually started obfuscating those, adding password protection, making it difficult to do analysis by putting in some mechanisms to avoid detection and so on. So they were constantly trying to improve the robustness of the malware. This is a bit of a timeline. So Hesperbot, which is one of the banking Trojans, first started in October 2013, and it was using the Australia Post theme. Then we started seeing the ransomware using that theme. Energy Australia came out towards the middle of last year, Telstra later in the year, and then the speeding fine theme, and then the Drydex using the Word document macros. So it's a persistent campaign using a huge variety of techniques that evolved constantly. So in conclusion, this activity was organised, well-funded and very persistent. It's still ongoing. It's affecting all sorts of organisations and individuals within Australia, including the government. They've decided in this particular campaign to target on a particular set of countries, which is quite interesting, and they've created themes which are very targeted for those countries. And the actors are constantly improving their techniques. So they're fixing bugs. So one of the earlier versions of Torrent Logger had a bug which meant you could actually decrypt your files. So they fixed that within a so sorry. So we're filtering websites by source IP, so they wouldn't let computers from a country that wasn't being targeted talk to the C2 or to the websites which hosted the malware. They were constantly compromising new sites to use, and they're constantly moving their infrastructure around using new IP addresses. So, we publish an IP address and a week later it wasn't being used anymore. So, thank you very much.
Just in case of the question. So thank you for your sharing about your cases and campaign in your country. So personally, I could understand how ransomware works and its business model as well, and also its characteristics. So let's keep on, okay? So the second presenter is from ID30, Mr. Muhammad Salaudi, and he's gonna talk about DNS protection project by ID30. Didier?
Is it here? I don't know. Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. What I like to present today is a new project in our country. It's about to strengthen our DNS infrastructure. And let's start with the profiles of the internet in our country today. You can see that the growth of the internet in Indonesia now is reaching almost half of this population, and mostly they comes from the mobile services. And this is one of the problem in Indonesia, because now if we can see the attack comes so many from the mobile services. For example, attack. You can see that at the bottom of this dot is there is a 400 rising reported DNS related incident, including malware domain and phishing site, spam host, and also DDoS. It is now also comes from the mobile services. And then we have another problem in Indonesia, because the infrastructure is very distributed. We have many network operators, more than 30 network access providers, and more than 300 ISP around the nation. So basically, it's not easy to leverage the security especially for DNS services, because everybody hosting their own DNS services, and we don't have common security ground for those services. And this is the background of this project. We see that recently DNS exploitation attacks are increasing. Even it is rare to find, but the impact of actual events are serious. For example, few years ago, we are experiencing a major disruption for the .co.id domain for several hours because of the DDoS attack. This is caused by the limitation of the root.id and not many servers we have, so it is easy to target for the DDoS attack. And now this is become some alert for us to have a project, this project, to strengthen our DNS infrastructure. And we are facing DNS amplification and DDoS attack during the election, the national election. And also the malware spreading and malware domains are increasing. Here's the problem, as I mentioned. DNS security protection is not a mandatory standard. So there are many various kind of DNS services, application and version, and also kind of infrastructure. So it is difficult for us to make them all secure by default. So there's always a hole to target for the DNS vulnerabilities. So this project will employ and to combine most available security features and put the protection measures and impose it as a single robust infrastructure that everybody can use, for especially the operators and ISP, to assure DNS security at every level in Indonesia. This is the project objective: provide secure and manage DNS services. This will be the one and only managed service available for all operators and ISP, and to improve national DNS traffic efficiency because we will localize all the DNS services, and to utilize and maximize existing DNS services because we already have some root services that are not all of them are utilized by the ISP, and to improve and leverage national internet core infrastructure. And we also will integrate all of national DNS resources to simplify management, and so it will be easier to maintenance. This, we hope, will prevent threat or attack, for example, DNS hijacking, DNS amplification, cache positioning, and also man-in-the-middle attack, DDoS, and also malware domain and spam. We are also experiencing many phishing attack comes from another country or from inside our country. So this also will become a problem for our banking industry. And this project will provide managed service. We will make some kind of peering network for DNS services. And then we employ DNS security extension. And we also providing the cache resolver services. And so we are providing secondary free services for our .id domains. And also content filtering services, spam filtering, anti-phishing filtering, and also DNS blacklist for malware and bot site. This is the diagram of the core system component. You can see we will employ DNS security and we provide a hardware security module for each DNS server that are connected to the system. And then we will provide content filtering, including DNS, IP, and real-time block list. And then we will have a dashboard interface for all of the services that can be used by all the ISP. So they can be easily register and utilize the services. And we also will host the root ID, FI for the Exchange network, and L root from ICANN, and .id secondary authoritative services. We will multiply the secondary root server for .id domain. And we also providing case resolver, anti-spam, anti-phishing, and so we are connected to the National HoneyNet project. Here is one of the popular content IP filtering because now we already have the project for the last 7 years. It calls DNS Nawala. DNS Nawala is a content filtering services provided by the NGO, the foundation in our country. It's similar with the OpenDNS, but it has customized databases that are related to our culture. So, and then we will have the DNS and Open Relay Blacklist, because spam is also a problem in Indonesia. Most of the email traffic are spam because of many Open Relay in Indonesia. And we also will have the another blacklist, and we also have a feeding from the National HoneyNet project and many others. So we will also have the DNS whitelist. For example, for the education community, they are willing to have their own filtering system that are not the blacklist system, but in a whitelist, with a whitelist. So we will basically provide this all kind of IP filtering, content filtering. Why is content filtering is popular in Indonesia? Because it is mandated by the law. For example, for the pornography, gambling, fraud, defamation, extortion, hatred, racism, and bigotry, and so on. We have many kind of law that are forbid some content. So you can see in this presentation. We have a very popular case today. For example, on the last dot is the filtering that are related to the content that are beyond Indonesian jurisdiction and not negotiable to take down. For example, we have now in hand the case of Vimeo. Vimeo is a popular video hosting. They are rejected to comply to our law. So until now we are filtering the Vimeo because they host many of nudity that are not categorized for the viewer. Sorry. This is the existing filtering system from Nawala. It operates from actually it's from 2008, but it is formally online in 2009. It is a DNS based, and we use Anycast IP. Those two IP are open to worldwide, not only used by the Indonesian people, but also used by many countries. You can see that the statistics shown there is more than 120 countries using this system and more than 4 billion query per day. And Nawala is an NGO, not a government organization. This is the proposed security feature we will employ. You can see that we will use the reference for RFC, and we also will use transaction signature standard, DNS security standard extension, and so on. The dashboard and network monitoring system will also providing the integrated log analysis and CMs and NMS itself. So we can have the profile of the internet access in Indonesia, the behavior of the users, and so on. So it will help us to prevent more attack in the future. So it's like a machine learning. So and we also will provide the public interaction web portal. This is useful for the people to participate to this program because most of the blocking site we are now have is come from the reporting from the community. We are also expecting the improvement of traffic efficiency comes from this design because of normally a DNS request is resolved recursively, and our statistics shown that 1% DNS query traffic is from the DNS request. But because of the user-generated and dynamic content, it is now increasing to 1/3. The traffic is query DNS. So I'd like to reduce this traffic by localize the DNS infrastructure to our data centers. So that we hope most of the DNS query will only happen in the Indonesian network. This is the how the DNS recursive requests happen. Normally, you can see that the user mostly will request the DNS from the ISP, and then they will go up to the root and then to the authoritative DNS that are being requested. But in this scenario with the this proposed design, we will localize all of the servers services needed. For example, the root are already hosted in Indonesia, root servers. We have L, F, and I root now. So all of the traffic are only happening in Indonesian network. This is how the request comes from the ISP. We will employ all of the security within the services, and all of the ISP connected to the system security through the VPN services. And only the DNS ISP can connect to this system. So the system will not be open to everybody. Only the for the ISP DNS. We also pair the DNS case, so we will have the improvement of the latency, because we can exchange the most requested domain through amongst the ISP. So we will have the more fast answer from each DNS. And it is all distributed system. We will use Anycast network. So not everybody. The ISP can host this system. They can copy the design and then they will host it into their own network. So it will help the improvement and also robustness of the system. And we have a plan to deploy this system across the country. We are now having more than 30 data centers in each province. Indonesia have 34 provinces now. So there will be one system in each province. And we also will provide free .id secondary services for the users in Indonesia. So we will have, for example, if somebody register a new domain for .id domain, automatically they will have the secondary server provided by this system. And we also put some staging design to protect our primary DNS services. So it will be hidden that only the secondary services will open to the public. This is the parties who are involved in this project. You can see that IDCRT providing the core system and coordination. We have Pandi. Pandi is the CCTLD of .id. And ABG is Internet Provider Association. And BP3TI is a National Infrastructure Exchange Infrastructure Provider from the government. And Air Putih is one of the NGO. And also the Nawala, as I mentioned, is the DNS filtering provider. This is a development stage. We are finished the stage 1. The prototyping and proof of concept is already done. And now we are go through the stage 2, which is the alpha test. And we are now have 3 ISP that are using this system now and test it and then give us some feedback. In the somewhere in the middle of third quarter of this year, we will release these services to the public. And this is also the implementation progress. Core DNS is already there. We are now fine-tuning the core security and also engage to the root server that are already in place also. And the last 3 is now being developed by our engineer. And we are now have the result of the test, the alpha test. And we are experiencing the efficiency. So as expected, we have a 10% reducing traffic in average, and we are able to prevent the DNS hijacking and DNS amplification and also poisoning attack. So, but still have problem with the cache indexing because of the the expiration in the database is not working very well. So we still have the problem with this issue. So this national DNS protection services will help us to improve our core internet infrastructure in the future, hopefully. And we like to share this to the community, to the Apcert community, and also the other country security community. So in the future, we will have the more robust and secure DNS infrastructure. This is the end of my presentation. Thank you.
So, thank you, Didion. Thank you for your sharing your DNS protection project in Indonesia, and I hope to see your system next time. Okay, thank you. And the third presenter is Dr. Jungmin Lee from Korea Internet Security Agency, Apcert CC. So, actually, in the last couple of years, cyber fraud such as SMS phishing or smishing or something like that has been quite increased in Korea, actually. So I think Mr. Jungmin Lee will talk about the situations in Korea and also the defense or mitigation systems in Korea as well. So please welcome Dr. Jungmin Lee.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jungmin Lee. I'm from KISA, and it's my honor to present to my country's response system about the cyber fraud. I think maybe everyone waiting the launch time, so I'm trying to, as fast as I can, finish my presentation. Oops. Yeah. Today's topic is the instance response case in cyber fraud in case of my country. And this is my content of my presentation. First, I'm introduced our company, KISA, and then I'm showing the current state of the cyber fraud. And third one is the response system. And it's the mistyping, not the for the cyber fraud, it's the against cyber fraud. And the last one is the case study, bypassing by our system because they advanced the techniques or some kind of things. First, Korea Information and Security Agency, KISA. Maybe I think some of you guys know our company, but maybe some others don't know about, never heard about our company, so I introduce a little. Meaning is we are government agency in private area for security sessions. We established in 1996. First time we just some small group of the colleagues, Korea Information Security Centers is the Apcert, and then we united the three government bodies, KISA, NIDA, and KIKA. So we joined some huge one agency. So at this time we are just about 600 members working for many areas. This is a major duty of KISA. We are information security, broadcasting, any communication improvement, especially ICT area. and also some international cooperation about the security part. So, yeah, many jobs that we are working. So if you have any questions or some contact point for private data and security, maybe you contact my colleagues, is Hong-soon or some Unju may be helping you. Yeah, first, current stage of cyber fraud. Yeah. Have you heard about the Nigerian prince or some treasure of the Saddam Hussein or some Canadian pharmacy? Never? Yeah, it's one of the famous things in the cyber field. If email phishing, someday some guy send you some email. I am a Nigerian prince. I have some values, and you win something blah blah blah, or I have the information about the treasure of Saddam Hussein, hidden treasures. So if you send me for $400, I will pay for you another big one, or you can buy some good medicine, but cheap price. So send me email. Some kind of fraud is one of the famous things. And this is today's topic is some mobile area. So I'm introduced to some phishing first. It's from Wikipedia. Is the definition of phishing in there, but shortly I said is just phishing the personal information, because they want some your user ID, password, or some credit card numbers, PIN code. This time, we in Korea we have some numbers for internet banking, PIN card. So they also try to steal it from other victims. And then we moved to cyber fraud area. One of them is voice phishing. It's a little different for cyber, because they trying to asking you for some your credit card number is exposed, or some have a problem in your account. So please enter your PIN code by ARS messenger. ARS or some human voice. They try to stealing. So it means the voice phishing is a telephony system they use, but we think it's moved to some smartphones. So we also think it's the one of the cyber fraud. And last one is smishing. Is what of combination of SMS message plus phishing. It means they try to steal your information by using some SMS message or an instant messenger, and they send some textures and plus some shortened URL, and then you see if you go to click that website URLs, and you can see some pictures, or for example, your application need update, or your security code is breached, so you need to protect for them. So do it, or some kind. I'm showing you later. This is the smartphone penetration rate in South Korea is decreased very fast. So at this time, about 72% of Korean people is using smartphone. It means almost everyone carries some small computer in your pocket. So maybe they find some blue oceans for them, because first time they just sending you email, because you can see some emails by phone at first time, but at this time you can do almost everything with your smartphone. You can send a message, and you can transfer your money to your friend, or you buy some things from email or eBay, or you can send the money for PayPal, anything. So they trying to find some ways. This is the number of reports in cyber fraud by our country's national police. I mean, they don't share this information to others, because there is highly increased in 2030 because blue one is indicator voice phishing in the South Korea, and red one is the number of report in SMS phishing, smishing, yeah. And 2030, 13 years is SMS phishing is very highly fined. They reported because there is everyone don't victims don't know about SMS phishing. They just believe the SMS text and okay, oh, there's a problem. Okay, I installed some apps, and then they expose their information, or they charge us some little monies or some kind. Then, but you can see there is decreased very efficiently. It means is in newspaper, mass media said, oh, there are problems, or they don't believe your friend's message, and some kind of post office no more send some apps or some kind of advertising take effect, so it's decreased very efficiently. But as you know, is just reporting to police office, because if you can't find I'm fraud, is no response to these things. This presentation shows the annual damage of some voice phishing or smishing. Voice phishing is more damage is very high because they said to you like this: your account has a problem. Some criminal using try to steal your money from your account. So if you want to protect it from criminals, please send your money to our safety account, some kind of things. And they said, I'm police officer, or I'm prosecutor, or some kind of bank members. They try to persuading you. So they send all of their monies to criminals one, and then away. So it's the damage is very high. SMS smishing is smaller than voice phishing. It means is that they just steal some small account of money. Because in Korea, you can buy some product by using in smartphone. We had the limitation about $100 under. So at this time, they try to just steal some data from, for example, your contact number, your friend's number, or try to hack some pictures, or some ID card numbers, or some send SMS to your friend for advertising. So we think we need some response system for that kind of cyber fraud. So we developed many kind of response system. So today I'm interested in 3 types of that. The first one is the forged caller phone number block service in voice against the voice phishing. In Korea, we appears almost every hackers using some forged caller number system, because they try to persuade the victims. So they said using forged their number for prosecutor, or some police office, or some mobile phone number systems. So they trying to forge the number, and also using some international call, because if they're using domestic area, policemen or some prosecutors, easy to find them. So they're using international calls. We think if we can block some numbers from international calling, we can protect this kind. Sorry. Oops. Ooh. Razor. Yeah. Banks, public company, and law enforcement from others. So we gathering the numbers, banks number, public company numbers, low impulse phone numbers we gathering and make some database and send it to some telecommunication company. So if somebody in the overseas members calling the international call to domestic one using these numbers, then blocked in here, because there is no way using some public company or law enforcement bank numbers from other country. It means you find we have some holes in this system, because we only care about the international calling. So if the hackers are using some domestic calling, we cannot protect it from here. But number shows system is 1 million per year. We blocked 1 million calls per year from international calling in South Korea. And they also working 9 to 6 p.m. Not working the overtime and the early time. So in average, we blocked about 34 phone call per minute in 2040. Means they using some ARC system, or they using many over there. So 34 calls. And most high speed is about 100 call per second per minute. So we try. Maybe I think it is a good solution for blocking the voicemail phishing. But I said is a little hole for that. And second one is the forged caller phone number block service for SMS service. It's the same technique for voice one. That we have in Korea, we have some company, some service for sending SMS by broadcasting or some multiple sending. So if you find like this, this is some kind of bank company in Korea. They send normal SMS text is passed. But if hackers try to similar one by fake SMS message using forged call number, then block the one. It means we also gathering the phone data, company's phone data numbers, and make a database. So we choose only real company can pass the SMS through the system. It means we check every line of some company. We have 12 companies about sending these kind of SMS servers. So we said if you guarantee the number, you can pass, or you can send some other companies said the same numbers, using same numbers, then block the one. And then we see these numbers. We blocked almost 4 million blocks per year. They try to send more and more, but they send all the day, not the 9 to a.m. Just also same using. So it's I think we think it is effective for reducing some phishings. And last one, sorry. Smishing response system. We gathering some SMS text message from the mobile MNOs, and we analyze this text, and gathering some apps from the URLs, and reporting. Confirm request means we analyzing the app, reverse engineering, and trying to find how they behaviors. And if we find it's the malicious one, we block the URLs and send the information to prosecutor or some police office. So this is the number of detects smishing message in SRS system from KISAR, and this graph shows 2014 during January 1. We showed in June find about 0.9 millions, but it reduced 1. And also is the malicious, we can find number of malicious apps during that time and SRS system. And last one is a blocked URL system about that during time. We think so at first time in June, our system not effective because it increased highly more and more and more. And but in the end of July, okay, reduce 1 because they find hackers find is we blocked some message from others. Then they increase highly little. But we think about that things. Why numbers is different? Means they usually average is not reduced or increasing or reduced at during time. They just numbers. Numbers is a different view. So and blocked URL also same similar SS message in blocking type. So we trying to find the reason why is different because it means if graph like this, maybe malicious apps is more to make they send. So we worry about maybe they find our system's hole. Yeah, and they find our system's hole also. And yeah, last one is bypassing system. For example, at first time they send a message like this. I'm sorry for the Korean because it's the hard to. It means please. We invite our wedding to you. Please join our wedding in Saturday. And this is some wedding pictures for you. We said, okay, it's from my friend. I said, okay, where is it? Or how they looking? So trying to see click this shorten URLs. Then said, oh, your viewer is version is too low. So you increase your some software, then you can click it, then you're infected. And this is the first time like this. This characteristic is using some kind of some personal things for wedding, and they also using shorten URL, so they don't try to find this from where some other countries or some malicious one. Or some kind of other words they using. You have the parking, we find your irregulation about the speed ticketing or some kind of things. And your some what kind of things is missing something. Please check out this from USB or FedEx. They trying to install that, and then they change their plans because we trying to find some words. Is if you have some weddings or some books of wedding pictures and plus some shorten URL, they MNO try to find the filtering that kind of things because there is a malicious one. But so they change their plan. For example, you can see some English character between the Korean one. Is the Saturday, wedding, F. Don't forget, like that things. Is harder to trying to avoiding the spam filtering system in the mobile MNOs. And then last one is for example, your request is fixed, guaranteed fixed, and then you can see some Dropbox context. They using some copy.com, dropbox.com, or some other. Because if we find some malicious code in some specific URL in Korea, we block that IP address by cooperating with ISP. We cannot block the Dropbox or some copy.com or some gmail.com or some kind of thing. Because if we block, we have once experience blocked some hotmail.net. .com. So, and every MSN users very angry about, upset about that things. So we can block the Dropbox user or just reporting the Dropbox, your system is using by abusing email or abusing APKs or something, but is not too easy to communicate with other countries' company. So they changed their plan like this. So we just trying to find other way. And yeah, they using captcha code. It means before time we gathering the information from SMS message. It automatically, because the efficient of we try almost 100 or 1,400,000 mail per day, SMS message per day. So we can have not enough manpower to downloading about the apps. So we make some automatic system for gathering the apps, APK parts. But they make using captcha code in their website. So if we go to our system, go to their page and trying to download the APK file, they said, please enter the code. So our system cannot work at that time. Or, yeah, this is one of the similar one, same things the e-file system is for police office police system in South Korea. You can check your many things. You can check you have a history about checked by some traffic cams or some kind of your license numbers or some kind of things. And then they said, please enter your phone number in here. So if they send a specific one and they have a database, and if somebody trying to download some APK parts, but if that number is not exist in their database, it's not work. Only they sending, they knows who. I wanna just that kind of person want to download it, but our systems or our fake numbers I'm entered, they do not work. So we cannot gather in that APK parts. So it's avoiding our system too. And next one is they checking some connection method. It means if our system SRS we create it in internet on the internet service. So if we trying to visit and try to download some kind of these words, and you send to real one. This site is the prosecution site of South Korea, real one. But if you're using mobile phone, then use to connect this site, and they send some phishing site, a different one. So they check who used the internet or who used the mobile internet. So they try to avoid our system. So it means they also study our systems and try to avoid that. They increasing more and more. So we are afraid about things is this reducing means is not really we efficiently block the SMS message, but they avoiding our system. So we try also study their system. By human, okay, we can find this message and then analyzing. But captcha is also one of the hardest things. So we trying to make some countermeasures in this year. So increasing text filterability, yeah, understanding human language is very hard at this time. So, but we trying to increase text filtering, and yeah, is introduction, not the induction. Sorry about that. Image comparing tech. We think is they want people's trust. But we blocked some forged number, fake number, then they try to some same page, like some e-file system for police or prosecution homepage or some Austrian post dot one. They using same similar one. So we compare the images each other. So if a similar one but is a different site, then is we think is a phishing site. So we try to block them. But it's also not too easy because they try, if you change it a little, is the MD5 code or some comparison method is recalculating. So also, but we try at this time. And third one is build a malicious app gathering system in mobile area. Yeah, is the for last one. Yeah, we try to using mobile internet for gathering the system, but it means we increase the operating fee because the internet in the internet is cheaper than mobile one. Yeah, this is my conclusion. Yeah, cyber fraud will be increasing. Yeah, because the more and more users using mobile internet and smartphone, and they also need more valuable. Anyway, they try to contact you. They want to gather in your information and try to find other way, social networking attack or some kind of things. And it also shows some trend to move to instant messenger because the people don't use SMS message a lot than before. They changed their talk with your friends, some Line Messenger, KakaoTalk in Korea, and QQ Messenger in China, or some Facebook messengers. They changed their trend. But we working with the MNOs, it's easy to connect. But cooperate with other countries, small messenger service is very hard to find. But it also works the same way. And third one is we need preparing fintech technology because at this time is just the start of fintech, bitcoins or some sending money or papers or Alibaba's and kind of things. But it changed more and faster they using because we think is give the people users experience more. They experienced is the more easy to spend money or some transfer the money to from here and there and over the country. It means hard to find and is easy to steal the money from in your smartphone. And so the last one is there is no perfect technology solution for preventing cyber fraud yet because fraud is the one of the longest history. They have longest history in human society crime. Because the people just believing that. We make everything for the phone. We blocked some forged phone numbers. We blocked some malicious code. But if just trying to calling RDS, hey, it's me. Please send me money, and then believe me. Yeah, there's no way to protect from some technical solution. But so. We try to reduce some numbers, but there is no solution for the perfect solution at this time. So if you have any some interesting techniques or some good ideas, please send it to my email. We're trying to make it and reporting to you, maybe efficiently or not, some kind of things. Thank you, and thank you for my terrible pronunciation about English, and maybe, oops, that concludes. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lee. So please close all these nice speakers again. And so from these three cases, the cyber attack mitigation efforts at the national level is the one way to prevent and reduce damages. But also, measuring efforts by individual and enterprises are also important. Not to open or download the suspicious file or SMS. Also, update your PCs or something like that. So, like cybersecurity raise the awareness is more important, and also security training is more important. So, if you have any questions, please use the microphone in front of there, and also please state your name and organization, and please.
Hi, I'm Zahari from Cybersecurity Malaysia. I have two questions. First, regarding the statistic, right? I just wondering, instead of statistics, do you have measurement in terms of dollar, indirect or direct, the losses? Because I think for the stakeholders, right, if they are more interested in, financial aspect rather than just the numbers. Perhaps, in terms of fraud or whatever it is, or if you have some indication or some information regarding this, if you can share, it'd be much more helpful. The second part is on the attack specific to the critical infrastructures. Like telecommunications, broadcasting, government services, and sort of things. Based on your experience, right, if you can share, do you notice specific, attack targeted to the critical infrastructure? Because I think for the, most of us, attack to the critical infrastructures are really important because they're the one that provide critical services to the country. Thank you very much.
Maybe I'm not sure. I'm not understanding exactly where. The first one is we have statistics, just numbers, because we just gathering the reporting from some victims. But if they don't know about I'm target or a victim, they don't report about that thing. So it's just only numbers. And also we have what kind of other things. We worry about this, especially some voice phishing is using some scary tactics. For example, I kidnapped your kid, and if you don't send the money to our account, I will hurt them. And in the background of sound, some boys or girls is crying and shouting some kind of things, and you can. We think it's easy to think very well because if you heard some boys crying or girls crying, you can think logically because you send the money to protect your kids or some kinds. One of my colleagues also they work in cybersecurity field, especially in fraud, but at first time they send the money to hackers because he said it's impossible for parents. Yeah, comparing your kids' security via your money. Yeah, everyone chooses kids' safety. So it is one day not reporting about that things or some kind of thing. So we are very worried about that kind of thing and very angry also. And we have another numbers, but at this time we have not much resource for combating with some cyber fraud because there is a newest technology one, so we just block it. And analyzing, maybe this year we make some report for example, some kind of data. We blocked some numbers per minute, or which country is the most vulnerable for that, some kind of things. But at this time, we have just gathering the data and block the one, because the financial damage is also important for victims. So we try to respond for that. Second one is, I forgot. What's the
Critical infrastructure.
critical infrastructure?
That get it attacked.
Yeah, still they just need gathering the information from others. For example, they trying in Korea, we have some credit card numbers or some passport number. Some people just take a picture and save it in your smartphone. So they steal some smartphones data, picture data, or some kind of contact of some others, but not for example, not at this time is not just evidence of the APT using some smartphone, but we think maybe someday they're trying to using that, because it's the step of the attacking. They choose some everybody, but smalling targeting. For example, you gathering the information and send faking your friend's name. Yeah, I forget some entering code about my company's some wrong number. So please tell me about that kind of thing. So maybe at this time we have no evidence about the APT, but we think it will become into our site. And maybe I think he warning me we have no times, so maybe I asking to find, maybe send to email. I am trying to make more information. Surely. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lee. I think we have to hurry up for having lunch time. But if you have question, I'll ask you to just one more question if you have. Rather than that, okay, the last question.
Thank you very much. My name is Satish and I'm from ICANN. I have a question for all the three panelists. What are the different kinds of payment mechanisms or payment instruments that are used across? Is it Bitcoin? Is it bank transfers, Western Union? What is generally seen? Thank you.
So for the ransomware campaign I talked about, it was Bitcoin. We've also seen a huge increase in wire fraud, phishing. So these are, again, social engineering emails sent to like the chief financial officer in an organization, pretending to be someone from someone else in the organization who's highly trusted, asking them to urgently transfer money to an account that they're given. So this is just a wire transfer. And they're using all sorts of different banks for that. So they're the two examples that I can think of.
Yeah, I think in Indonesia is similar with Australia. There's a wire transfer, different banks, and sometimes they also want to exchange some products. Yeah, for example, it's also familiar to ransom. For example, the points within the game, online games. Yeah, there's a material there you can exchange and to buy. And also Bitcoin is also popular. So that's it. Thank you.
I have a little different thinking about that things, because in Korea, victim side is just normal person, not the technical one. They said, send me Bitcoin, said, what is the Bitcoin? Or send me some paper, using paper. I don't use paper. It's don't work. So we usually using wire the transfer, money transfer, and the size of the, is more easy to use. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So if you have any further questions, please contact to the speakers in person after this session or in lunchtime. So the next session starts 2 o'clock p.m. Okay, 2 o'clock p.m. So internet health and metrics. So hope to see you all in this room, and also enjoy your lunch, and also close to our dedicated speakers. Thank you.